Brendan, go ahead.
Yes. Yes.
Brendan?
Hello?
Brendan?
Hi, Steve.
How are you?
How are you?
Good, good. Glad I could catch up with you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, Brendan, I have been given a list of questions here by a journalist at Rocking On magazine.
Okay.
And,
Rocking On?
yeah, this is the #1 selling music magazine here in Japan.
Oh, cool.
And, the guy who has been put in charge of your interview is sort of a pop fanatic.
Excellent.
Yeah, yeah. So you'll have to excuse me if there's any inconsistencies here, because I'm kind of coming into this cold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't heard the record or anything?
Yeah, unfortunately I haven't.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes they provide me with that background info. Unfortunately, this thing was kind of sudden, so I didn't have a chance to get any of the biomaterials or the record.
Okay.
But he informs me that it's very high quality pop.
Cool.
Now I was looking over the questions here, and I mean this thing almost reads like a psychiatry session or something. So you're gonna have to forgive me if some of these sound a little bit off the wall. But I mean,
okay.
He's kind of trying to probe into your past and the little background incidents that may have caused you traumas in the past and that kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So don't be too surprised if this sounds a little bit.
All right. Well, don't be surprised if I'm in tears by the end of the interview.
It's okay, Brendan. Go with that thought. So our interview starts with this question about the album title, Mississippi, which is apparently a reference to the Mississippi River because you're from Louisiana.
No, not exactly. I mean, it is partly, but it's actually called One Mississippi. Is that written down correctly? I think you said Mississippi.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it does say One Mississippi. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you might know, being American, it's kind of hard to explain that. It's like counting. Have you ever, you count? It's like counting seconds.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, one Mississippi, two Mississippi.
Exactly right. Mm-hmm. So that's all it is, and I just thought it was kind of somehow it suited the record. It was kind of playful and also the reference to the South and the Mississippi River. I thought were cool and but it was really it was just kind of a whimsical idea.
I see. Okay.
I mean it wasn't like really thought out so much.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's kind of hard to explain that to I think maybe to a Japanese person.
That's right.
I've done 6 or 7 of these Japanese interviews, and I've had to explain that every time, and I'm not sure that anyone really gets it.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Because it's kind of an American, I don't know, kind of tradition or kind of a folky type thing.
Yeah, kind of a habit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. But you're now located in San Francisco, it says.
Yeah. I'm actually in Berkeley. So.
Oh, you're Berkeley. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but how long have you been in the Bay Area then?
Just a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
I moved most recently from Detroit, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived. I spent the first part of my life in Louisiana, and and then I moved to Detroit, and went to high school and stuff, and hung out there for a long time, and I lived in L.A. and a little bit, and then now I'm in Berkeley.
Ah, okay. So you don't associate yourself with any one place in terms of it being home then? Or?
Not really. I guess I tell people I'm from Detroit, for all practical purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I guess I'm based in San Francisco now.
Right.
I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But the band's from all over the band. The drummers also from Detroit, and the bass player is from San Diego, and so it's kind of I'm not sure how to answer that question.
I see. Well,
where are you from?
Yeah. Well, one thing this guy was wondering about was your past here. It says that you lost your father when you were 7.
Yeah, I was like 6 or 7. It just my parents were separated when I was about 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And my father took off to Florida or something, I think, and I kind of lost touch with him, and he left a really amazing record collection behind. He was a huge music fan. In fact, both my parents were. They were kind of young, and I think still kind of like kind of hippie and into the music scene and stuff, and so they had cool records, and I fortunately for me, I grew up listening to like Bowie and T-Rex and stuff, and
Wow, so if he had Bowie and T-Rex and stuff, then he must have been still around the house and buying records until the early 70s then.
Totally.
Yeah. And wait, so he just sort of disappeared. He didn't die or anything then?
No, he didn't die. No, he's living. I think he has a family of his own now, and but no, we just sort of lost touch. I think he was kind of a flaky guy, and I mean, I think it's pretty classic. I mean,
yeah.
Unfortunately,
Or maybe it was tough for him to deal with having a child as well. Maybe he didn't expect to have a.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was. I think that I think it was mainly my mother's decision, though. I think my dad was probably cool with it all, but then again, my dad never. My mom said that my dad never really grew up. So I think my mom grew up and thought, felt the responsibility and all of the pressure, and while my dad kind of maybe just listened to records and stuff and hung out and whatever, had fun.
So what year were you born, Brendan?
1970.
Oh, you were born in 70. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess for a kid though, if there's no father around in the first place, it's not really something you have to deal with. It's just sort of something you take for granted from the very beginning.
Yeah, I think. Now exactly. I think while I was growing up, I don't think I really thought much about it. But in retrospect, I really wish I did have a father around. I think I missed out on a lot of things.
But I guess at the same time, people of your generation, to be raised by a single parent is pretty common.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that seems to be the trend.
Yeah, right.
I think it's pretty sad. I mean, on behalf of all fatherless children, I think I can say that I don't think it's not a real healthy way to grow up.
I guess it's kind of a glib segue, but I mean, do you think that growing up, having to sort of grow up on your own, had anything to do with the fact that you embraced music?
Yeah, totally. And I think that since my dad left behind all those records, I think I kind of adopted the records as, if you'll forgive the melodrama or the triteness, but I think that I kind of adopted the records as kind of a surrogate, father. I mean, those records always kind of reminded me of not really him so much as like my childhood. I think when life was totally easy and fun and stuff. Still fun. It's not so easy anymore, but so yeah, I think I found solace in music. And
yeah. Well, that's interesting though, because even for those of us who had fathers, when you reach a certain age, the music becomes a kind of your own little world that you sort of tap into, and it's something that's always there for you. It's something you can always understand.
Totally. Yeah, you can either use it to get away from your parents, or use it in case you've lost one of your parents. It's kind of funny. It's like the all-purpose tonic,
That's right. So, how old are you when you first became sort of consciously into music? Then,
probably like when I was maybe like 13 or 14. I think I discovered, it was around that time, I was like 14, I discovered punk rock, and and that really, I think, probably was, really struck me, like, because most of these bands were so young. They were like my age almost, and especially the American punk bands, like the hardcore bands and stuff. They were like making records and making music and stuff, and they were my age. And I felt like, until then, rock and roll or music was always so like just out there, untouchable. Like I thought something that was for only famous people, or not. I mean, it was just like real dreamy. But the punk rock thing came as a kind of came like a just was very real and like I thought maybe I could also play guitar or something, or get a band together.
I guess that's what they call the do-it-yourself ethic. You immediately,
exactly.
That immediately kind of struck a responsive chord with you. Huh?
Totally.
Yeah.
I don't know what what was happening, like maybe in the '60s or something, or the late '50s when when like someone like Bowie was growing up or something. Like what happened to them to ever give them the notion of picking up a guitar and even attempting that sort of thing. But I know when in my case it was like, I mean, it was seeing, just monkey see, monkey do. I saw kids my age playing guitar and putting out records and like having a good time. I wanted to do that, but until then it was just kind of like rock and roll was out of reach.
So you're 13 or 14 years old at the time. You're in middle school, and you're seeing other kids do it. How about bands at the time? Did you look to any bands as like role models, or did any bands have were any bands particularly inspiring to you?
Yeah, totally. There were, like I say, a lot of the American hardcore bands, and some of the old, the English punk bands, and there was a scene happening in Washington D.C. A bunch of kids were making records on a label. They had sort of organized their own record label called Discord, and I think it's pretty well known now. But I remember buying every record that came out on Discord.
Wow.
It was like guaranteed a good thing. And there were some Detroit bands too. When I, in Detroit, bands like Negative Approach and then later like the Laughing Hyenas, totally inspired me.
The Discord is the one with the Fugazi.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. What is it, Ian?
Ian MacKaye, right?
Right. Okay, Ian MacKaye, right. Okay.
Yeah, I think. I mean, and still he remains the most. I don't know, God, like admirable and noble musician of our time,
Right.
And businessman too. If I don't know if that's really if that's, not sure that's the right term in his case, but just I mean, like organizing Discord and also making like some of the greatest records,
A paragon of integrity, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
So at the time, then you had other friends just the same age who were going through the same thing. Did you have like a little group of friends, or just a band, or how was it working at the time?
Yeah, I was it was like there was a few of us that hung out. Like it was. I guess it was more towards like more in high school that we actually actually picked up the instruments. I mean, I think we may have made some flyers and like flyers, advertising some phantom band that never that really wasn't together or anything, But then in high school, I picked up a guitar and learned some, probably some Minor Threat songs on guitar, and my best friend, sang, and we lucked out with a drummer. We found, in fact, the drummer that I'm playing with now. He's just a high school buddy, and he was the best. He was the more competent, musician. I mean, he'd been playing drums for a long time, and he was really good. So we always kind of sounded good because of Woody, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, we taught like, you know, kind of taught one of our friends to play bass and stuff. I mean, it was like, you know, pretty proverbial, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So we're to assume that since about high school, you've been pretty consistently active as a musician, then?
Yeah, yeah.
But obviously, what you're performing right now is not what we would call punk, though, right?
No, not at all. I mean, I've come a long way. Those bands didn't last for, you know, didn't last too long,
Mm-hmm.
and I think by the time I was like 19 or 20, I think I was through playing with those bands, and I started, you know, writing songs on my acoustic guitar, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I recorded a bunch of stuff in my bedroom for a long time, and you know, gave tapes to my friends and stuff, and stuff like that, and then you know, and subsequently I went, you know, I took that tape to L.A.
Uh-huh.
And played it for a friend that I knew in L.A. and his name's Jason, and Jason really liked the tape and wanted to re-record some of the songs and, like, you know, lend a hand with some arrangements and stuff like that, and also, you know, he had a 4-track, and he's super keen on the 4-track. He could, you know, make it sound really nice, and so we did that. We made a tape, and some friends heard the tape. You know, we gave it to some friends, and they liked it, and one of whom took it to a record label, to a couple labels actually, and I got calls.
Uh-huh.
You know, so it wasn't shopping the tape. We didn't make a tape to shop or anything like that. We were just kind of goofing around. And
so where does Jason fit into all this now?
Well, Jason, I guess, let's see, I moved when I was, I think probably like 18 or 19. I moved to L.A. and I moved in with a woman who was living with another woman who was dating Jason.
Uh-huh.
So it was kind of like circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, you know, for such that we kind of, I mean, we're like, living together almost, and we became really good friends. And then things didn't work out with that woman, so I left and went back to Detroit. And that's when I think I kind of like wrote a lot of songs, and then I made my way back out to L.A. like a year or two later.
Right.
And met up with Jason again,
Mm-hmm.
and played him this tape, you know, that I had made. And while I was out the first time with Jason, you know, just living with him a little bit, you know, he played me some songs. He was in a band called Jellyfish at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and he played me tapes of songs he had written, you know, on his own, and recorded on a 4-track, and they sounded unbelievable. I was really struck by the sound that he had done this on a 4-track. You know, I was doing it in my bedroom on a tape deck. You know,
Uh-huh.
and but and the songs themselves were just amazing. I was totally inspired by that. You know, and so when I left L.A., I was like, you know, I mean that I was pretty. I left just pretty inspired. You know, to write some songs and get it together. And,
Uh-huh.
you know.
So at this time, then you were pretty much performing just what we would call like just regular pop music.
Yeah. Even when I was in even in the punk bands, in the early bands, we were always kind of like, I mean, I felt that we never really fit in. You know, we'd play some gigs here and there with other punk bands, and we never really fit in. I think what we were doing was more. I mean, definitely more sensitive to like melody, and you know, and you know, even harmonies and stuff like that, which was kind of, I mean, it was pretty, you know, that was kind of it was becoming more and more common in punk music, but you know, I think we were kind of cutting edge, you know, for our time, and it was just that our singer couldn't sing very well.
Right.
So we were limited, you know, but so the music I think was really melodic and stuff. So when I wrote songs on my own, they were always super, you know, I mean, I liked harmonies and a good melody, you know. I mean, I didn't feel like, I don't know, when I don't know, that's just what I like. I don't know why that is, but
right. The guy who wrote the questions here was under the impression that, you know, you've ended up making very sort of positive sounding music despite your very trauma-ridden past and all this stuff. He's got all this these other dramatic observations written down here, but that wasn't really the case at all. You just sort of naturally matured as a musician and kind of went in that direction. It wasn't like
and I don't think I really suffered any like real great like traumas, except for I think really not having a father around.
Right.
But you know, I think I don't know why he would have that impression. I mean, I'm glad that you know that he thinks the lyrics or the songs are so positive. Because I like to think of myself as kind of a positive guy. But I mean, especially nowadays when everything seems so negative, you know, everything else, music sounds so dreary and miserable. You know, I'd like to, offer something else.
I think, what is it, the song I'm Blessed has something about a line to the effect that things will be okay because I have the sun behind me or something like that.
That I have what?
That I have the sun behind me, or I have God behind me, or something like that.
Sun behind me. Wow.
How does the actual line go?
I don't actually know. I mean, I think that he's kind of paraphrasing or you know, simplifying it. There's no real line like that, but I mean, I think in I'm Blessed, it's just I mean, that's a great, you know, that's a cool, like, you know,
interpretation
version. Yeah, totally, right.
But it's just something like my mama told me that the gods were on my side or something like that. Is there some line like that?
Wow, no. I wonder, does he get, like, I mean, has he does he know English? Does he speak English?
He has the lyric sheet, the Japanese translation of the lyric sheet. And I'm looking at this right here, and it's like the last line of I'm Blessed says, the gods are on my side. That's what Mama told me, and that's what I think.
Wow.
How does the last line of I'm Blessed go? I mean,
the last line of I'm Blessed is like, and I'd like to wind up with someone like her, and it won't matter if I'm a little scattered, because I never know what's going on, but I'm blessed, and I guess.
Oh, okay.
And I think I'm blessed is like, my mom, you know, instilled in me that I had, you know, that I was always very talented, you know. She's always telling me that whatever. I mean, I like to draw a lot, and I paint some, and, you know, I played guitar and stuff, and she was always really encouraging, and at the same time, you know, I felt I don't know, I just felt like, I don't know, kind of a, feeling, you know, like, I don't know how to describe it. Just like, you know, I guess maybe I have this talent, or, you know, I'm told I have talent or a gift or something, but why don't I feel satisfied then? I'm not completely happy though, you know, or you know, for the most part, or generally. I mean, I'm a happy guy. I'm just as happy as the next guy, but you know, just kind of, you know, it seems like I should maybe. Oh, I don't know. That's it's getting too far out, but you know, I mean, I think that's really what it is. I'm blessed, but I still go through life kind of groping. You know.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. How about Got No Secrets? You seem to think that was another song that revealed something about you.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's kind of pretty fictitious, that song.
Uh-huh.
Like, I mean, there's a line like a line about my father, like I was beaten by my father,
Uh-huh.
which I was not ever beaten by my father. And I think, I was just kind of, I mean, just taking license, using artistic license, I guess, and just, and I think it's more about, I think I had maybe someone in mind, like, there's people, I think there's a lot of people like to sort of wear their hearts on their sleeves and kind of make a spectacle of themselves, like and of their whatever whatever kind of drama they're going through at the time or whatever, like or like on talk shows,
Right.
Making, I don't know, just making it all seem really trivial and like meaningless,
Right.
Doing that, I mean, like talking about themselves and their whatever, or discussing their problems.
Being sort of a professional victim.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Making a living out of it, or even just making, using it, I guess, like as, I don't know, just maybe manipulating people with it, or
right.
It's kind of silly, and everyone's, or I don't know about everyone, but at least I sometimes I'm prone to do that, but I'm then I feel ashamed of it. I mean, I don't think it's, so that's, I think, really what that song's about.
So you're lambasting that sort of victimology type of
totally.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Let's see here. Last three questions. Your musically, you seem to be reflective of the 60s and 70s influences. And you talked about having starting out with your dad's record collection.
Yeah.
In retrospect, what 60s and 70s artists do you think have had the greatest, the most lasting effect on you now?
Yeah.
That is.
I'm glad you say that. Because lasting effect is I think more probably more right on than influenced. I mean, I was definitely. I'm influenced by, I think, just about everything I hear or see or anything. But yeah, like I think David Bowie and the Rolling Stones and the Kinks and Elvis Costello have all had a huge effect and made a pretty big impact on the way I think about music. But on the record, I don't think that's real. I don't think that's real apparent. Like any of those, I don't think you could really pick any of those people out or make a make the connection. But yeah, and I don't know why the record sounds. I mean, I can't really. I mean, well, I guess I do know why. Maybe it sounds 60s because that's what I like. I mean, those records. Seems like music was really exciting then, really like and interesting and unique and the way, and even right down to the way the records sounded. Actually, sonically, they were exciting. Something was thrilling about that. Kind of lo-fi and kind of overly compressed and all that. And nowadays, I think that a lot of times it's you sort of have to weed through a lot of garbage to get to the real good stuff, And so I end up just listening to a lot of older records, I guess.
I see. Do you still when you're at home and you pull out a CD or a record or something, you tend to listen to the old stuff?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean there are new bands that I love, But yeah, for the most part, I listen to older bands like the Bowie and the Kinks and stuff.
Uh-huh. I see. Okay, so English stuff then.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, but also, let's see. I mean, no, not. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, just so happens, I think that for some reason, yeah. America during like the '60s to me means like well they like it was like more like psychedelic or like folky or something like that, and I don't really care for those bands too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the rockers were coming from like British, from like England and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
British rock.
Yeah.
Okay, and the guide notes here that your songs pretty much seem to be based around you and your guitar.
Yeah.
Are you interested or influenced at all by current stuff like hip hop or techno, that kind of thing, or are you just more of a guitar kind of person?
I think I'm more of a guitar kind of person. I like some of the techno stuff. I mean, but I think I think it's just like for me, it's like it's like strictly entertainment. I mean, I don't take it. I'm not a huge fan, so I don't take it very seriously. But some of those techno records and like the hip hop stuff sounds really cool. They use great. I mean, the samples and the sounds are really cool.
Uh-huh.
I mean, actually, I love the way like hip hop records sound. And
yeah. And then you get guys like Beck who are guitar type guys, but they kind of
exactly
they use that sound as well.
Totally, and Beck is like he's unreal. He's totally cool.
Yeah. He sort of pulls it out of left field, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Last question here is about this is actually something you referred to for just a second there. You were talking about how these days people seem to embrace a sort of negativity. There's a certain negative quality in what they're singing about. In your case, it seems like you go in the other direction. Do you think that that's a backlash toward what's happening now, or is that just your own sort of taste for positivity?
I think it's. I mean, right now, I think those songs were. I mean, the songs on this record. This is my first record, and it all happened so quickly that I don't think I ever really. I mean, while writing those songs, I think it was probably my taste for positivity, but
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to experience any kind of like really, horrifying, like experiences
Uh-huh.
with dealing with the record company or the record industry or business or whatever, but I can see now. I mean, I kind of can understand, I think, and sympathize with a lot of artists who are complaining. Seem to be like crying out, like that the state of things is pretty grim.
Uh-huh.
But I would hope. I just hope that I can sort of maintain, kind of a positive attitude about the whole thing, because it's, man. I mean, I've heard some pretty terrible stories, and I think that it can be pretty ugly, but
right.
I'd like to keep it pretty.
But I mean, you think that all things considered, your life has been pretty blessed then?
Yeah, I've had it good, I think, and knock on wood, I hope that I hope it continues to be all good, and I hope I can sort of just cope with the bad things, because I'm sure it's, I'm just sort of, I mean, I'm like, God, I'm just like, it seems like I'm just kind of growing up, like, I've had to do a lot of growing up pretty quickly since I got a record deal. It's like, I don't know, it's strange, man. It's like I was writing songs for the fun of it, and now it's like, now it's kind of, you know, it's like the I guess the task at hand is to, you know, to write these songs out of, you know, and or have fun writing these songs and not, I guess, become too, God, I don't know, you know, diluted or whatever, you know, affected too much by the business.
Well, you have to, I guess, have to sort of become more disciplined.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Brendan. Well, I think I got what I need to know.
Cool.
And I'm glad I caught up with you, and I wish you the best of success. I guess you're going to make it out here for promotion. It says.
Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah.
So
what are you doing out there? Are you are you a professional translator, or do you have a?
Yeah, I'm a translator. Usually I do written stuff. I do this music stuff sort of on the side, but I've been doing it for about 15, 16 years now.
Wow.
And yeah, it's given me a chance to talk to a lot of people.
Great.
I mean,
That's great.
literally hundreds of these things. And if you get out here, there's a very good chance that I'll meet you in person.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That'll be excellent.
All right, dude. Well, I thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Okay, take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.